Hello, Scratchers. It is real fun for me. I start to observe notifications coming in every morning for the challenge. Whenever you people remix the project, code it, and share it, I love to see the notifications. And if you also would like to see the notification with as much enthusiasm about the daily challenge project, you can follow the Scratch Studio for this daily challenge. And the number is 29577 669. Now, one of the games I know all you children are playing is driving some kind of vehicle. So today we will make a driving reflection test game. In this game, what we're going to do is we're going to have a vertical score scrolling. I think this may be of interest to some of you who want to use it for many of your games. And look at our vehicle. Right now, it is doing only left and right movement. So this should be very easy for all of you to do. And every time it bumps, just reducing the speed. And the only thing one has to be really careful about is the ambulances. You can pretty much decide how interesting and challenging you want your driving reflection test to be. What are the objects you want to give? What kind of penalty? What kind of reward system? Everything you can decide on your own. The scroll code, whether it is horizontal or vertical, is achieved using sprites. And this is like pretty much standard kind of Scratch coding. So what you do, your first sprite, once you create the costume, you make sure that you cover the entire region. And then you set it to the back layer because you want the other sprites to be on top of it. And you can set the first position to be on 0, 0. And then you keep changing in terms of vertical, you keep changing Y. If it is horizontal, it will be X. Here we're doing vertical scrolling, so it will change by 5. And once it crosses 345. So basically when it crosses this point, we will again set it back to start from the bottom. Now, while this is scrolling up, there's going to be white space. So how do we cover this white space? By exactly using a duplicate sprite. And the code of that sprite, it's initially going to start at the bottom so that as the first sprite moves up, the bottom one moves along with it. There's no white space. So similarly, it keeps changing by Y5. It keeps moving out. And just like the first one, this one also, once it reaches the top, it will get reset and start from the bottom. So this is how the scrolling code works. Main car sprite. Now this sprite, it's only moving horizontally. So we are using left arrow and right arrow. And you will be able to be very familiar with this code by now, because pretty much wherever we use the sensing code to allow users to control a character, to control a sprite, we put it in a forever loop. The reason is, if you do not put in a forever loop, you know how the code works. When green flag clicked, it will check if something is pressed and the code will get over. There is no way you can exactly press this key when the green flag is clicked. And that's not the only time you want to click it. You want the game to detect it throughout. So whenever you use these controls, you use them in a forever loop so that this piece of code is always getting executed and it can detect. And we are using the X speed to identify how much it is moving left or right. Initially, we are setting it to 2 and then we are moving it by 0.1 and we are changing X by that much unit, left or right. So to do the left, we have multiplied by -1. Next, what we're going to make happen in this game is we're going to have different objects coming in from top. Now here, example, we have taken 3 objects, and please be creative and use as many different kinds and in as many different ways. So we have this random car, and you will see each of this is 1, 1. And we are having many of them come. So we are clearly using the clone code. So we are using the clone code very creatively. What we're doing is, since we have a timer which is starting so that we know how long we can sustain a good reflection. So in the my car, if you see right on top, we have taken a variable called drive time. We have set it to 0. And then we are incrementing it by 1. What we have done in this code, where the random cars are coming, we are using a check against time. That for random car code, what we're doing, we are checking and we are changing the speed at which it is coming based on how much time passes. So initially for the first 20, we are waiting for anything between 2 to 4. And once crosses the counter 20, that is greater than 19, and between 19 and 50 is going to or rather between 19 and it is less than 50. So between 19 and 49, it can pick up and wait for 2 to 3. So we are reduced from 4 to 3. And then once it crosses 49, it's going to wait only for 2 seconds. And after that interval, it will create the clone. So it will create the clone a little slow in the beginning, faster and faster. And what does it do when it starts as a clone? Let's look at this code. Again, you should be very familiar. We are changing the color effect so that we get vehicles in different colors. And it will start from anywhere on top between these two boundaries, and the Y position is fixed to top, and it will glide coming down. Now, where will it glide to? So whichever position, X position it has picked up here, that position we are using through the variable X position. Once it has come down, we are hiding and deleting this clone. So pretty much once you have one set of your any kind of vehicle coming from top to bottom, pretty much the same code which you can use in the others. You just have to make edits when do you want it to appear. And then in the car code, you have to take care of what action you want to take if it is touching and going outside its track to any of these green area, we are reducing the speed little by little, because if it stays too long in the green, we want to reduce it further. And we are also bringing it to the center. So we can actually reduce it much further because we are anyway forcing it to come right in the center. If it is touching this set of random cars, we are just reducing the speed to 0. So it really slows down and it had to start all over again. If it is touching the truck, then we are increasing its speed and we're changing the X by 10. So we are doing different things based on the kind of vehicle which is coming to us. Now, if it is touching ambulance, we are stopping the game. So that's like the end marker for our game. A reflection has to be more attentive, most attentive with the ambulance. I thought it would be a good break after the very intensive rainbow color memory game that required quite a bit of coding, a lot of testing. This should be a good simple break. I look forward to creative projects. Make sure you don't just use the same vehicles and do the same thing. Come up with different ideas. You can play with the background. You can change things around. Have fun, create and code. Have friends play it and share with us. Ta-da!